Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends, and thanks to our presenting sponsor, the Small Business Mastermind Group. Check the show notes for details and for links. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about your supply chain and why now is absolutely the time that you should be focusing on securing that supply chain across the board. So this episode is applicable to any small business owner, whether you have a cafe, whether you have a roastery, whether you have anything that deals in any kind of commodity or product-based business. Right now, we are experiencing inflation, and we're starting to see that amongst the entire commodity chain. A flow-on effect of that is that there are other things that have become incredibly expensive. We are seeing the demand on a number of commodities surge, and that means that more product needs to get on ships and get shipped around the world to get to different countries. The on-flow effect of that is that the price of shipping has become very expensive. Not only has the price of shipping become very expensive, but add to that mix that people are getting back to life as what people are calling the post-pandemic, but we're not really over the pandemic yet, but things seem to be opening up. And as things are opening up during summer, you're starting to see gasoline prices go up as people go back into the world. So shipping prices are going up, commodity prices are going up, gasoline prices are going up. All of this is a recipe for piling on to the inflation that we anticipated would come from the printing of money out of thin air. And now we've got some compounding effects of all of that. And we have been spending the better half of 6 weeks working very intensely with everybody that's in our mastermind groups to make sure that they have locked down their supply chain. And that means with regards to coffee, with regards to packaging, with regards to pricing on all of the things that they perhaps get daily delivery of. So why is this so important for you to do now? Expensive, yes, but why is it so important for you to do right now? Well, because we don't know how far inflation is going to go. Many people are predicting that the thing that was never going to happen in countries like America and here in Australia and Canada and places like that, they're predicting that this thing called hyperinflation would never happen. But many people are now taking back those claims and saying that hyperinflation could be a very real thing that happens in a country like America. This is not great news. And the reason this is not great news is because as a small business owner, if hyperinflation happens, you will have to absorb the cost of that before you can pass that on to your customer. And then you have to go through the process of passing that pricing onto your customer as all of your prices go up, and it's potentially going to be a mess. But the more prepared you are, the better able you will be to absorb the consequences of what's coming. So we've spoken about this recently, and you can check out a lot of the more recent episodes of the podcast to get your head around what inflation is and how it could have ramifications for your business. And please remember, this podcast is not a finance podcast. It's not an economics podcast. I am not sitting here saying to you, this is absolutely what's going to happen. I'm not giving you advice on the financial advice for your business. I am sitting here saying to you that should this eventuate, this is how we're going to get prepared for it. And this is how I am preparing my businesses for this. This is how I am advising all my clients and how I'm working one-on-one with all of them and everyone in our mastermind groups to do that. That's both in the coffee industry and outside of the coffee industry. So every industry is going to be touched by this somehow. Now, how will you secure your supply chain? Take an audit. Step 1, take an audit of who all your suppliers are. If you are looking for the best way to do that, go into your profit and loss statement, go into your cost of goods section of your profit and loss statement and figure out, start there. Who are the suppliers that supply you with the cost of goods sold portion of your profit and loss statement? So they're anyone who supply you with things that go into creating your products. That's the first place where you need to lock in your contracts. Go to each of those suppliers who are still currently suppliers of yours and revisit any agreements that you have and lock them in for the next 12 months. In a future episode, very future episode, sometime in the next couple of episodes, we're going to talk about what's going on with the coffee supply chain specifically and the challenges that we're experiencing there. And you need to pay attention. If you buy green coffee, whether you buy it through relationship buying with producers or whether you buy it from importers, understanding what's going on with the supply chain right now is imperative to the success of your business. Spot coffee may become a real problem moving forward if you are heavily dependent on Central and South American coffees. Anyway, we'll get into that in a future episode. Right now, in this episode, we are focusing on how you're going to approach securing and locking down your suppliers today and your contracts today. Figure out who your suppliers are, contact them, try and lock in a price for at least the next 12 months if you can. If you are looking at buying coffee, thankfully, anyone who's in our Roasters Mastermind group or our Coffee Small Business Mastermind groups have gone through the process of contacting their suppliers, locking in forward contracts for the next 12 months, taking receipt of some of that coffee as a good faith gesture at the price that's been locked in, and then they will take ownership gradually throughout the year. Now, it's important to remember as you are having these conversations with people, it's super important to remember that consumer behavior is going to change as a result of an increase in inflation. So don't overbuy. That can become a real problem for you as well. Once you've locked in these contracts, you have an obligation to take receipt of this coffee. So don't overpurchase. Purchase based on your projections, taking into account what you expect to happen with consumer behavior if inflation takes place. Also, please consider what your pivoting strategies will be as you move into the next 12 months. How will you adapt your business model to be able to pivot and to meet the shifts and changes that are going on in your business as the market, the coffee consuming market, responds to this? So during the pandemic, we witnessed a number of consumers shift from going to cafes to starting to buy from supermarkets. How will you compete with that model? How will you pivot your business? If you haven't already got an online store, right now is the time to make that happen. Get in contact with us if we can help you with that. Also get in contact with us if joining a mastermind group is something that you believe would be helpful for your business as you prepare for this. 3 months in the mastermind group should be enough for you to get ready for this. It's $100 a month. You will learn a lot about the things that you'll need to do to get locked down. Most people stay longer even though they get a lot of benefit out of the first 3 months. They don't have to stay, but it's a very supportive environment and people stay for a lot longer than that. So please, 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 please focus on locking down your supply chain now. Knowing that packaging is already going through the roof, plus there are delay times. We are witnessing shipping issues that have never been seen before. People are paying 200% extra just to get a spot on a ship for their container. And that's simply because there's such a backlog of shipping, coupled with the demand of a lot of these goods going up. So this is the time to do it, folks. The window will close at some point. When? I don't know. But we are here to try and get you prepared as soon as possible. So I hope this has been helpful. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.